Before this video starts, I want to give a quick shout out to ViksVids97. He's quickly becoming a friend of the channel, and he puts out some incredible content. Make sure to check him out, link in the description below. In 2007, the Michigan State Spartans were led by quarterback Brian Hoyer, who would throw for 2,725 yards and 20 touchdowns. The Spartans would finish 7-6, falling to Boston College in the Champs Sports Bowl 24-21. 2007 would see the appearance of a young Nick Foles, who appeared in just one game for the Spartans, going 5 for 8 with 57 yards, before transferring to the University of Arizona in 2008, though he would be redshirted before making his Wildcats debut in 2009. In 2008, the Arizona Wildcats were led by senior quarterback Willie Tuatama, who would throw for over 3,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. The Wildcats would finish with an 8-5 record and secure a 31-21 win over 17th-ranked BYU in the Las Vegas Bowl. Tuatama would graduate from Arizona in 2008, meaning it was finally time for Nick Foles to take the field. In 2009, Nick Foles would throw for 2,486 yards and 19 touchdowns. Arizona would finish the year 8-5 before getting shut out by Nebraska 33-0 in the Holiday Bowl. 2010, Foles would throw for 3,191 yards and 20 touchdowns. The Wildcats would only finish 7-6 with a 36-10 loss in the Alamo Bowl to Oklahoma State. In 2011, Arizona would finish the season 4-8 as Nick Foles would set a new school record, throwing for 4,334 yards in a single season with 28 touchdowns, tying the school record for most passing touchdowns in a season set by Willie Tuatama in 2007. Foles also holds the record for most career passing yards with 10,011. The player with the record before him, Willie Tuatama. Heading into the 2012 NFL Draft, Foles would be selected in the 3rd round by the Philadelphia Eagles. The 2011 Eagles finished 8-8 and were led by quarterback Mike Vick, who would throw for over 3,300 yards and 18 touchdowns in just 13 games. Vince Young would start in 3 games this season, throwing for 866 yards and 4 touchdowns before his NFL career came to an end. Enter the 2012 NFL season. Nick Foles would only start 6 games, throwing 1,700 yards and 6 touchdowns. Mike Vick would start the first 9 games of the season before suffering a concussion in Week 10 against the Dallas Cowboys, before coming back to start against the Giants in Week 17. He would throw for 2,362 yards and 12 touchdowns. The Eagles would finish with a 4-2 record and would part ways with head coach Andy Reid, who would then sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. Philadelphia would sign Chip Kelly out of the University of Oregon to be their new head coach for 2013. Mike Vick would start 6 games in 2013, throwing for 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns. Nick Foles would begin to break out, starting 10 games, throwing 2,891 yards and 27 touchdowns, as the Eagles would finish 10-6, winning the NFC East before playing Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints in the wildcard round. Foles would throw 23 for 33 with 195 yards and 2 touchdowns, with the game ending in a 26-24 victory for the Saints, who would lose to the Seattle Seahawks in the conference championship. Seattle would go on to win the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos. 2014 would see Foles throw for 2,163 yards and 13 touchdowns. He would only start 8 games after suffering a collarbone injury, taking him out for the rest of the season. The Eagles would turn to Mark Sanchez, who would...
Well, years ago we talked to Tom Moore, then at Indianapolis, the offensive coordinator. You got a busted play here, and then Sanchez gets hit. The ball is loose, and it's alive.
I have never seen this before in my life. Watch this. Vince Wilfork is going to throw Brandon Moore back into his quarterback. He's going to fumble the football. This is what Reggie White used to do to people, forklift them and just lift them off the ground. Mark Sanchez not expecting it, and it was the backside of Brandon Moore that knocked the ball.
They turned to this guy? The fucking butt fumble? Really? Sanchez would throw for 2,418 yards and 14 touchdowns. Okay, so he actually didn't do that bad.
And then Sanchez gets hit, the ball is loose, and it's alive.
The Eagles would miss the playoffs after finishing 10-6. Before the 2015 season, Philadelphia would trade Foles to the St. Louis Rams for quarterback Sam Bradford, who would throw for 3,725 yards and 19 touchdowns, as the Eagles would finish 7-9, parting ways with head coach Chip Kelly before Week 17. Foles would have a rough go in St. Louis, only starting 11 games, throwing over 2,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Case Keenum would start the remainder of the season, throwing over 800 yards and 4 touchdowns, as the Rams would finish 7-9. Foles would spend 2016 with the Kansas City Chiefs as a backup to Alex Smith, who would throw 3,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, as the Chiefs would win the AFC West with a 12-4 record before losing to the Steelers 18-16 in the divisional round. Foles would start one game in 2016, throwing 36 for 55, 410 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He would return to the Eagles in 2017, where didn't the Steelers go on to lose to the Patriots?
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th! What a comeback! They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history! Edelman comes down with a football, and they're saying it's a catch.
Foles would return to Philadelphia in 2017, where he'd be a backup to a young Carson Wentz, who, coming off his rookie year, threw for 3,782 yards and 16 touchdowns, as the Eagles finished 7-9. The Eagles would start 2017 with a 10-2 record heading into Week 14 against the Rams. Week 14 would see Wentz injure his knee and would be ruled out for the rest of the year. He would finish with over 3,000 passing yards and 14 touchdowns. Philadelphia would go on to win this game 43-35 and would finish the season with a 13-3 record, earning the top seed in the NFC. It was now up to Nick Foles to lead Philadelphia to a Super Bowl championship. The Eagles would start the playoff campaign against the Atlanta Falcons, coming away with a 15-10 victory. Heading into the NFC Championship, they would be facing off against Case Keenum and the Vikings, who had just come off the Minneapolis Miracle with a 29-24 victory over the New Orleans Saints. This, however, is a game that they wish to forget, as the Eagles would decimate them by a score of 38-7. Foles would throw 26 for 33 with 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Cinderella story was beginning to unfold, as Nick Foles has now led the Eagles to Super Bowl 52. His opponent, the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 52. The Eagles lead 15-12. Philadelphia has the ball at the Patriots' 1-yard line, looking to add another touchdown with 38 seconds left before halftime. With it being 4th and goal, however, they would need to dial up something special. something Philly special.
This is an unbelievable call. This is like going for the onside kick against Peyton Manning because you don't want him to get the ball too many times. You don't think you can hold him out. And here we go. This could decide the game.
4th and goal. And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Call. Going to come with the reverse, back the other way, short kick, gave him an opportunity. But oh, baby.
Yep. And you took several seconds off the clock as well.
I think that was part of the reason they kicked it short. They wanted that clock running.
So from the 9, he's got to go 91 yards and convert a 2-pointer. And Brady begins by slinging one to an open receiver, and that's Hogan, but he can't make the catch. Brady under pressure, flushed out, slings it across his body and incomplete. Intended there for James White. It'll be 3rd down and 10. It was Derek Barnett putting the pressure on.
Close.
That was the first game against the Giants. Brady now under pressure, almost gets sacked, incomplete. Pocket collapsed. They're down to their last play to try to keep it going. 4th and 10. This is it for New England. 4th and 10 from the 9. Brady fires, and that'll keep it going. Amendola up at the 20-yard line, but the clock keeps on ticking. What a catch. Yeah, tremendous. Brady, short pass. Gronk will just try to get out of bounds, and he does. Now you got 20 seconds. Ball at the 33, 67 yards away. Brady. Now he's going to throw short. Gronkowski needs to get out of bounds and does.
There he is.
Boy, oh boy. Almost pulled a little Stephon Diggs routine there.
Wow.
Stayed in bounds. That took 7 seconds off. Now you got 13.
Nobody in.
Now they got 3 DBs back at the 20. Brady fires, and it's almost picked off. That took 4 seconds. That's Darby. Brady under pressure. Escapes the sack. Launching one for the end zone. It's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. And Gronk was there. And time runs out.
This is the end of the game.
And for the Philadelphia Eagles, the long drought is over. Finally.
Not only did Nick Foles win the Super Bowl, but he also delivered the city of Philadelphia its first Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. But the story isn't over. Foles would start the first 2 games of 2018 before Carson Wentz returned from injury, though he would see more action throughout the year, starting 3 other games and finishing with over 1,400 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. Wentz would start 11 games this season, throwing over 3,000 yards and 21 touchdowns, as the Eagles would finish the year with a 9-7 record in a wildcard game against the Chicago Bears.
And he hits the upright again. That's impossible.
The Bears' season's going to end on a double doink.
The Eagles would win this game 16-15 before falling to the New Orleans Saints, who then got screwed against the Rams in the NFC Championship. That Rams team would go on to lose to Tom Brady and the fucking Patriots. Again. (2019). Nick Foles would sign a 4-year, $88 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. After years of ineptitude with Blake Bortles at quarterback, Jacksonville had hope that Foles would be the final piece in their Super Bowl puzzle. He would suffer a shoulder injury in Week 1 against Kansas City. He'd return in Week 12 against the Titans, but by then, it was already too late for Jacksonville, only having a 4-6 record at the time. They would finish 6-10 on the year, with Foles only throwing 736 yards and 3 touchdowns. So what did Jacksonville do at the quarterback position? Meet Gardner Minshew, a rookie out of Washington State. He would start 12 games and throw 3,271 yards and 21 touchdowns. Carson Wentz would remain in Philadelphia, where he would throw over 4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns. The Eagles would finish 9-7, winning the NFC East, I know, pathetic, before falling to the Seattle Seahawks 17-9 in the wild card. Foles would be traded to the Chicago Bears for the 2020 season, where he would start 7 games, throwing for 1,852 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Bears also featured Mitch Trubisky, who would start 9 games, throwing over 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. The Bears would finish 8-8 and fall 21-9 against the Saints in the wild card round. Chicago would draft Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields 11th overall in 2021. He would start in 10 games, while former Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton would start in 6 games. Fields would throw for 1,870 yards and 7 touchdowns, while Dalton would throw for 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. Foles would only start in 1 game this season, throwing 24 for 35, 250 yards and a touchdown, in a 25-24 victory over the Seahawks before finding his way to Indianapolis for the 2022 season, where he would be a backup to 28 to God! Foles would only appear in 3 games this season and would spend 2023 as a free agent. He was considered to replace Deshaun Watson after he went down in Cleveland, which don't even get me started on that, and at the time of production, remains on the free agent market. But at 35 years old, retirement may be the final chapter in the Nick Foles saga.
You want Philly food? Yeah, let's Philly. Philly special. Ready? Here we go, here we go. Tonight! Easy, easy! Kill! Bleed! Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Let's go!